Hi there, I'm Cary Ellis, author of 21st Century Superhuman. This is our 21st Century Superhuman show. And today I have with me Don from Canada. Hey Don, how's it going today?
It's going great.
Cool. And you are going to show us how to make coils. This is something you've really mastered. It's amazing how you kick out coils, and we want to learn from you because they say one of the best ways to learn something is to sit at the feet of somebody who's figured out how to do it, and we activate the brain cells that make us able to do the same thing. And with you there is your buddy John, who we've been doing some shows together. Hey John, how's it going today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing the camera thing today. So we're probably going to switch off here maybe a couple of times, but Dawn's going to show us the coil making. We're going to try to explain it right from the beginning so that everybody understands like how we came to this.
Perfect. Awesome. Cool. Give it a go. Go for it.
I'm just going to step back here a little bit and get the whole thing.
Okay, first of all, we've got the wire on a spool we buy from Home Depot. We buy the, 100 meter long?
300 meter long spool, one wire.
One single coated strand of wire. So
and it's 14 gauge, right?
Always 14 gauge for making basically everything. For home reactors, especially, we follow code, you know. So anyway, here's my cordless drill. You can buy this at any hardware store, of course. And here's we cut down the length of this mandrel, also from the same hardware store. They come in 3-foot rods, and we just cut them down to lengths. And we'll give you the measurement later after the show, as they're all detailed measurements.
Yeah, we'll put them under the video. I love your birds. They sound great in the background.
I can't chase them away. They're too far away. So anyway, I put the rods right to the end of inside the drill, and that's my length. And I don't deviate off that. And then what I do...
That's your length that you're going to make the coil, right? Because you have counted the turns on the coil, and you know exactly how long they are each time. So you're giving yourself a pre-measurement by doing this.
Yeah, I started out with a rod long, and I made my turn. I made it, and it would take me 20 minutes to count it all out because I have to use a pen to make my counts. It's so hard to see, and especially a gravitational. You have to do with every single rod, every single coil you do. Do this once, make your mark, you cut it to length. And this is what I come up with.
And so you're making the 81 turn coil, which is the gravitational, right?
That's according to Keshe's prime numbers that we use, and we're using 81 for the inner coil. Gravitational. And what I did in order for the wire to catch and turn, I have to bend a little wire. The same copper wire.
That's a 12. We use a 12 gauge copper wire for that.
Wire. It's a little stronger, so it doesn't give out. There's a lot of tension on it. And I just slipped it in between the shank here, between the top, and it goes in. It drops in. So you got to be careful. You got to hold it from dropping out. And so here's the wire that I use. Now I propped up this board. I made holes for the wire. I made holes for different size mandrels, whatever I'm doing, and the different jobs. So I feed this.
So Don, you just took that 12 gauge wire and just made a loop with it to hold your 14 gauge wire, right?
That's right. So when it turned, it doesn't slip through. There's a lot of tension on there.
Cool.
So I put that in there, and first I put the wire in through the board. So it gives me a 90-degree turn come through, and then I'll pick my other hole. I need to drill another hole. Okay, that's getting pretty warm. Here, I'll feed it through the loop. Now what I want to do, I'll go basically to the end of the gun, through the drill. And then I wrap it around. So it stays
Smart. And I just want to say, in my working back and forth with you, I've just been really learning a lot and delighted at the level of kind of just practical expertise you have. You have ways that you figured out to do this that just really make it work. And so it's why we wanted to make this video. So keep going. Just tell us all your details. They're really wonderful.
Yeah.
So
And always make sure the drill is in reverse.
well, this is forward, right? Following clockwise. We'll leave that. Go in the direction I want to go this way and loop around. You got to make sure it's tight and it binds. Go real slow at first. So you get a pretty good grip on it. I push on the drill, make sure there's no spaces, and that's what I want. Now, as I pull, now it's getting tight, and I'll pull back here, John. I'll show you. I'm pulling on this wire. There we go. I'm going to pull some of the coating off.
Oh yeah, and that's just a quick little second here. I'm going to just show that this is something that we got set up that slices into the insulation on the wire on one side. It just makes a small slice, and then we just peel it off as we turn. As you can see, it just peels, just comes off.
These guys are the whiz kids.
And then that works out for us right there. And then it's just on a roll sitting in here. And yeah, and it just comes off the roll. And then when Don does this, you'll just see just how really quick this is. And by cutting the rod to the length we want, when it gets to the end, we're done.
Now I'll have to stop for a second because this is tensioning, it's cutting, so I don't want any more pressure winding this because it'll just pull through. So I'll do it again. I'll give it some slack. I'll pull the coating off. It's already scored. Whoops, sorry. Now I have to add a little, broke my coating. What else? Hold on to that. I need a utility knife or I have to pull the coating off. Want to pause the video for a second?
No, right here. Knife.
Oh yeah.
Right there. It's not exactly a maintenance-free operation. You got to sometimes stop and set things up again, but it's still a lot faster than doing everything manually.
We have a little more coating clear. There we go.
Yeah, there it goes.
I'm getting near to the end, so I'll make sure I got more black. So I slow down because it's going to come out and pop out the end. And as I get to the end, it's going to tell me I'm at the end of my count. You got still a lot stuff. There it is.
There it is.
So I'll just add a little more. And that's it. So now I'll give a little more cut again.
Wow, so you go right to the end. And then tell us about how you're deciding this extra too.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do, I gave it enough slack right here. So when you're doing gravitational, you got to double it. That much, and then 1/2 more. That's more than enough. That's why I like doing by the roll instead of pre-measured length, because in case I'm short, I don't want to be short on my pre-measured length. I take what I need.
And the reason for that extra length is because on the gravitational, it runs back through itself and then back out and still needs to be able to attach to other things, right?
So now, this is tight. I can't just slide it off. Well, this one actually gave me, it's okay, but on the 144 turn, it is very difficult to pull off. And I sometimes got to wind the wire back, and to get loose, then I can just pull it off.
John, can you show us what he's working on there? Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and then we got the coil done.
And there it is. And here's your long length that you need. And that's what you do. It's a little excessive. I didn't need to cut that much. But but you get the point. The gravitational, one wire has to go twice as long as the magnetical wires.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And what size mandrel was that? Was it a 3/8 or 3/16?
This is 3/16, yes.
And then you use 5/8 for the other one along with that?
No, it'll be 3/8.
3/8.
This is the 3/8. Where's the other one? But this is the same 3/8 rod, but this is for magnetical. And there's a short rod like this, and it'll match the length of this. So they go inside each other. And that gives you a 0.6 millimeter difference on each side.
Nice.
So, perfect. So whether it's metric or SAE, doesn't matter.
Beautiful. And then are you going to show us what you do with you make it?
Oh, the wrapping the coil, or sorry, winding, not.
You were talking about, we were talking about maybe you were going to show us your cold caustic nano coating and your torch.
Yes. Well, we can, I can put together a coil and then show how that's all wired together.
Well, whatever you guys want to do, whatever's easy to show us in addition to what you just showed us.
Okay, well, that was just one.
I've got the slides of the nano-coated coils. Should we pull those up? What do you think?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, pull them up.
Let me find it here.
So we have to change the spool. I'm at the end of the roll, and that's going to take a little bit. We can leave the production. Well, we got one set ready. We could do that one.
Well, yeah, I do have a coil ready to go that I can show. So I can do this one straight from the beginning, already set up, ready to go.
Yeah, we can do that one easy.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you the camera.
Yeah.
And then...
Did you want to do the GAN first, get it out of the way, then we can let it sit out sun and let it dry, and then what do you think?
Well, the GANS dipping is really the big thing about the GANS dipping is... here, just bring the camera up.
Sure. I can't see myself.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And this, we're just thing that we just... It's nice and liquidy because you don't want the GANs for dipping your coils too thick. The Keshe says that you just need a thin coat.
And that's what is your combo? Do you know your percentages approximately?
This one right here is more CH3 and more CuO2 and a little bit of CO2.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're putting in more CuO2 than CH3. So I'd say we're probably about maybe 50% CuO2, 25% CH3, and maybe 25% CO2.
Okay, so it's the copper that's 50%, and
that's the highest.
25 of each of the others.
Yeah, and so these ones we got our little glass set up here for hanging and drying, and these were fired, and then also cold caustic in the sun, and basically we just take and we just let them dip, make sure that it gets all around, let it drip out. Oh yeah, we also got crystals in here, crushed crystals in here too.
Wow.
So so they'll stick to the coils as well.
Beautiful.
And then we just give it a little shake off, and then we will let these just hang for a few hours to dry off. You see, it doesn't discolor very much, but after three times of dipping, that will have just a nice green tinge to it.
So basically the state that these coils are in right now is they've been heat nano coated and then cold caustic in the sun, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And And then now you bring them in and you dip them. You dip them once and let them dry, and then dip them. You let them dry in between each dipping, right?
Yes, usually for a couple of hours.
Yeah, we leave them out in the sun, in the wind, air dry them, and make sure the inner or the gravitational are dried right out.
Yeah, and then so we can usually get through the three dippings in one day, but we'll let them sit for 24 hours to really dry out before we'll wire them into a Magrav.
Nice.
We'll do tomorrow.
Yeah, so that'll be tomorrow's thing.
Cool.
And so what else I can show is we've got our show how to wire these coils together. So we have our outer and our inners.
And you've got a one coil inside each coil, right?
Yes, that's already done. So you can see the 4 wires coming out.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So what I do here is I will find the wire that's coming out the center that loops around all inside the inner coil.
Right.
And find that wire. That was this one right here. So what I can do there is I can take a little piece of tape, because it's important to know which one that is. Because if you don't get that right, it kind of all goes sideways on you. So I just put a piece of tape on it just to keep track of it.
Hold it up just a little, John, or move the camera down.
Over to the table here. I'm just going to have to trust that he's in the view here.
Okay, well, I'll, okay, you just get you in one spot. There, yeah.
About there. And I want to show you the way you make your cuts. I put your side cutter down there.
Yeah, okay.
Now we'll watch John go in action here.
Okay, so this is this coil right here. Yeah,
You're a little bit out of the screen. There.
There we go.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so you can see that the center wire that I put through has got some black tape on it, so I can keep track of that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the outer coil, so that we can keep track of that wire too as we're wiring it up. And it's the same thing for that little black piece of tape. So that's the wire that loops all the way around inside the coil and comes out the other side.
Nice.
Okay, so that one we keep track of. Now, how I do this is I keep
Bring that paper over,
yeah, I keep my nice little paper close to me, because I don't profess to be the smartest guy on the planet.
Brilliant.
But I can learn.
and let's just say this is downloadable from the Keshe Foundation. This is called a blueprint. It's downloadable from keshefoundation.org.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all that's available online. So I just set that up in front of me, so it helps me to keep track of where I'm at. So then the next thing that I do is I make
John,
sure.
can you back up just a tiny?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go on this way.
Give us a little more of a view, because we're kind of.
Now I can watch you. Now I can watch my screen.
Okay.
Bring it up a little, though. For like seeing his feet. There, that's better. That's better.
Okay. So what I do is I make sure this wire is on one side, because it just makes it easier to wire it when you know where everything's at. And then I'll take the same inner wire that came around. There's the black tape, and I will keep these two things on the same side, so they're right in line with each other. And then what I'll do here is I will take and I'll make sure that 2 of the wires are underneath and 2 of the wires are on top. And then I can just keep my fingers right in here just to keep them spread out nicely. Now, this is my first one. It's coming out of the center, and
just tell us to stop if you're not sure, Kerry.
Yeah.
No, this is good.
And then I just move it over, and I find the inner coil wire on this side, which is easy because the outside one is obvious and the inner one is not so obvious, I guess, but we can find it. And then you just take and we just wrap those ones first. So we just give it a nice little twist.
Okay, well, just maybe just stop and show her. Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to tell, but
Yeah, Don, it's got to go up a little bit.
go up more
There,
like this.
there you go. Yeah, that's much better. You get in too close and we can't really see.
Okay. Yeah, I get you.
And so I just give it a twist. I don't want to twist it too much. 3 turns is more than enough to wrap them together, and then so that they can hold. And so I know that that's done. And then all I do is after it's done, I want to get rid of some of these wires because there's too much length here. And I just cut off about maybe 3 centimeters. And I leave 3 centimeters on there. We got a little bucket that we throw our junk copper into that we can always recycle later. And then I will make my loops, and I just turn them in. And that's boom, done. Give it a little turn.
Nice. And that's to send the current back, to send the energy back in instead of it discharging out.
Exactly. And then I got my next wire now. I'm looking at my picture, and now I'm going to take the outer coil of the inner coil, the outer wire of the inner coil, and then that will go to the center wire of my outer coil, and it's the same thing. Try to remember to turn everything clockwise. And then once you get a couple of twists in it, then you can just take your pliers and then just tighten up that twist.
This is great.
And then again, same thing, 3 centimeters. Get rid of the excess wire because it just makes it easier to wrap the coils once you get rid of that excess wire. And again, do the same thing. We give them our loops. And make sure that when you loop it, that it's touching the wire. Super important.
God, thank you for that detail. So important.
And then my next one, okay, so I know that this center one right here, so now I'm going to flip it over just because it makes it easier to do. So this is going to be my gravitational that's going in. And then I have this one right here, this outer coil wire, or inner outer coil. And then we're just going to take, and that, we're going to twist that. Give that a quick twist.
Now it looks like you're going the opposite direction to the way you were. You were going clockwise, right?
No, I'm trying to remember to go counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise, okay.
Yeah. So I just give everything a twist. But it's all a matter of orientation anyways.
Right.
So I just try to, because, I mean, if you look at one end of the wire, it's going to be clockwise. You look at the other end of the wire, and it's going to be counterclockwise. So everything is a matter of orientation. So I don't know. I do the best I can, I guess.
It's a non-ending debate.
Yeah, but we found that the Magravs do their job just fine.
Cool.
And then we give this one a twist in.
As they say, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we test all of our Magravs. If they don't blow up in our face, we figure we have a success. But no, that isn't going to happen anyways.
No, it
doesn't.
If the worst ever happened, it flipped the breaker.
Yeah.
There's a slight short, and then we fix it, and then it's fine. No.
Yeah.
And have you had that happen?
We did have it happen once, and it was just because we wired the Magrav wrong, and we knew our mistake immediately, and we fixed it. But like I said, the worst thing that happens is you're going to trip the breaker at your panel. So you go and you reset the breaker. Not a big deal. I mean, you're plugging into 15 amp sockets anyways. So they trip real quick. And then I just make sure, what I try to do is I try to use the wires that I turned, like that I used to, that I wrapped together to hold my other 2 wires in place. So that, you know, so that they don't go nowhere and they stay out straight. And then what I do here is, we have all this stuff marked down on our bench too, is I turn around and I just put the coil against the edge of our bench, and I know which one's my positive, and all I do is I just take and I can just snip it right there at that line, and then I snip it the gravitational one slightly.
Wow,
shorter.
so you know just how long you need it to be.
Yeah, we already did all these measurements beforehand. So we know exactly where everything has to be, and that's why we can just go right at make the magravs. We can do a magrav in I think I can make a magrav in like 30 minutes now.
Wow.
But the first one was not 30 minutes. And then at the end of it, there's what we got.
Don, go up a little bit or hold it down. No, the
where am
camera
I?
needs to go up. There you go. That is beautiful.
Yeah, it's a thing of beauty.
Nice.
Well, now that you got that built, you could show her the fire coating.
That's where we're heading next. So now we're going to fire coat it. So basically we have our little, well, we're not going to set up our little bar because the bar.
No, that's right. I'll hold it.
We do set up a thing for hanging the coils and then firing them. We're not going to do that today. I'm just going to grab a pair of vice grips here, and Dawn's going to hold.
I'm going to put this camera right on the chair.
Well, actually, I can hold it and fire it at the same time.
Well, here, just put it on the chair. It's got a handle on it already. And then the light.
This is so cool, you guys. It's so much fun to be in the shop with you.
There, what does that look like to you, Kerry?
Yeah, you watch us search for our tools, too.
Well, it's kind of funny. I can see myself on your computer.
There we go. Boom, I got vice grips. Where's the torch?
Right over here.
Okay. So, so basically I just take my vice grips and I'm just going to just grab the top of the coil, and boom, lock it in. So now it's hanging and I'm not going to get burnt. That's the big part. So that's not, yeah, I don't want to get burnt. So,
okay, I'll get the, I can do this. And
okay.
Where is this good to you, Kerry? Right about here?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, that's good right there.
Okay. So I should just turn it slightly like that so that she gets a good angle, and then just right there. Perfect. Don't move. Okay. And I'm just going to fire up my torch. Loud. Well, I just start up here, and then we just come down. And then I just keep going around.
Wow, that's making a really interesting noise.
So I just play the flame to get some heat on the copper, because it takes a little time for that to get some heat.
I can smell it from here.
Sorry, Carrie. Really can't hear you with the torch, though.
It's okay.
So once I get a little bit of initial heat on it, then I can just start around. And then you see the discoloration. Let's get this turned a little bit more. There we go, perfect. So then once you get the discoloration starting, you just follow the sheen all the way around.
Can you see the rainbow?
Yeah, when you see the rainbow, follow the rainbow. Okay, we just bring out, hold up like that. I'm gonna take the camera. I want you guys to see this, the shine that I get when I'm going around. So you can see the shine going around as I move the coils. You can see it change color. So I come down the Magnetical, and basically I'm chasing electrons when I'm using heat like that. And I just chase them around, and then I chase them out. Boom, done on that side. And then as I turn it around, and then I do the other side, and it's basically the same thing.
That is beautiful. Just awesome to see you do that. I don't think you probably need to do the whole thing, but that is fantastic.
And then again, do the same thing. Chase the electrons into the coil, and then chase them around. And if you notice, I'm going in the opposite direction as I did on the other side. And then just follow the beam all the way around. Now, when you do the other side, it's a lot easier because the coil's already hot.
Can you guys hold it down a little bit, Don? There you go. Gorgeous.
And there we are, done.
And that is fantastic. Absolutely beautiful.
And there it is. Doesn't take very long. And then we also will put this through a cold caustic in the sun for about 2 or 3 days.
Well, a week. I did a week.
Or a week.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, they come out just beautiful pitch black.
Right here.
That's fantastic. Let me screen share and I'll just show those few
Oh, we can show you one right here.
Oh, nice. And Don can tell us about his cold caustic method.
Yeah. And there's this coil right here, already done.
Beautiful.
Yeah. This was actually one that my son put together. As you see, he kind of shortened up the wires because I made him do it like 3 times because he kept on getting it wrong. And I told him, "All right, do it again."
What age is he?
He's 20.
Nice.
So he can take it.
Cool. That is awesome.
Yeah. So yeah. So I told my son, I was like, he's been watching me now for the last 6 months doing this stuff. And I told him, I was like, you might as well learn how to do this stuff because someday you might have to do it in a pinch.
Yep.
Especially making GANS, because I said someday, I said that the GANS, making GANS is going to become important for,
yep.
You know, for purifying water, for getting rid of infections and cuts, for keeping yourself healthy in a polluted world. So these things are
absolutely great awareness. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I love that chasing the electrons. That's really cool.
We're going to put you back on the computer again.
Okay. And Don, you want to, should I put these slides up? There's just 3 of them and you can talk us through your cold caustic process a minute.
Well,
yeah, that's a good thing to do.
Well, let's see if we can.
There we go.
Set it outside.
Can you guys see that? Or do you have some, do you want me to get out of screen sharing or?
I see. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I was gonna. Yeah, maybe get out of screen share. I was just gonna show you. This might be a little more practical.
Okay.
Hold. Are you able to see it? Maybe you want to hold the camera, John.
Yeah. Okay. Right there.
Oh, look at that beautiful Pyrex dish.
Yeah, I stole it out of the shed that was we upgraded some pottery in the house. So then, hey, this is great for making caustic. And I wanted pure glass. I wanted a heavy lid. And what I found initially, that air kept evaporating. So I put them, went to the hardware store, got them foam stripping, and I hot glued it on it.
And you said it's like the foam stripping for that would go under a door or something like that.
That's right. It's something like that. It's some everyday practical use for a home, a window, whatever. You need a tight seal. And so the way it shuts, it's nice. It keeps the air, moisture in, and that's what it does. So back up a little bit more, is I use we bought the material at a hardware store, well, you can call it chicken wire gauge, but we cut it to length and just put it in the bottom. So I use excess cold caustic, that lye crystals.
Right.
Put it in a spray bottle, and I even dumped like a third of a container into this. And I want about 1/4 inch of water on the bottom, and it's
and so Don, did you get the coils coated with it, or you just got the stuff in the bottom?
I sprayed it as well. I even spray it 2 or 3 times during the week to keep it moist and make sure it's getting the caustics.
So when you make the caustic that you're spraying with, do you just take cold water and the caustic and mix it with each other, or do you put boiling water in the caustic?
Boiling water. There's a process. You got to use boiling water. I sprinkle a little bit in a spray container on the bottom and pour boiling water, and it's pretty hot. I just leave it sit for a few hours before I put the cap on it and spray it, because it's hard on the spray nozzle. And that's what I use. And then after it's done, it's cooled off, and I spray the coils.
Any way we can get the camera to see the inside of your bowl there?
Oh, sure. So there's that's the screen mesh. Nothing fancy. I just make sure it's a 1/2 inch from the bottom, and I throw in 15 coils in there. That's enough to do 4 magraphs.
Wow.
Or no, that's 12. Sorry, 12 coils.
And the coils, Don, at the point you put them in there, are they already inside each other, or they're not?
They're done, yeah.
Already built.
This is the process. This is one of them.
Okay, so you have it already built like that and wired together and everything before you even nano coat it.
Yeah, individually, yeah.
Well, I mean, you do the fire nano coating, and then you have it all made like this, and then you go ahead and do the cold nano coating.
All the ones you see on that the glass over there, they were in here.
Okay, they've all been in that bowl.
Yeah, for the week, 1 week.
Wow. And so you go out and spray them every day or so. What would you do if it was winter?
Well, I would just leave it inside of the picture window. Just let the sun shine on it. I've done it when it was freezing cold outside. It would go, whether it's in a baggie or a glass container, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It needs to be enclosed away from air. It needs to oxidize the stuff with copper the way it does. So
cool. Awesome. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. Beautiful. And so once they come out of there, then you wash them?
Yes, I do. I get another separate container. I fill it with garden hose water, and it's pretty milky inside there, and I let it sit for 10 minutes. I rinse it out, give it another little fill up again. I let it sit there for 20 minutes, half hour. I rinse it out, and I use a spray nozzle, all the coils, and then let them dry. And then John came along this morning, and we're ready to coat with the GANS.
Cool.
So that's what we did already. So.
And then it's a triple coating of the GANS, drying in between.
That's right.
And then what happens after that?
Then we get to put magravs together. Yeah. Plus, we got our little containers that we have. Got a drawer full of containers and our plug-ins, of course. But yeah, we just take and we fill our containers with our GANS mix for our center sun, and we add crystals. This is our separators.
For separators and housing.
Yeah,
housing. Look at you guys go.
So we just cut them up. Like we don't want like big lengths of pipe kicking around. So we already know our measurements. So we just cut everything up, throw it in the container, and when we go to build magravs, I just grab parts and start throwing it together.
That is fantastic.
And then once it's all together, this is what we have right here. So you can see the wiring that I've got going on here. And what I do is we take and use hot glue to hold the wire to the Magrav coils. And that's all up inside. Oh yeah, take note. I'm touching live wires, by the way.
Oh, here.
Yeah, this is a live wire. This, I should be getting an electrocution because look at this, right? There's the Magrav plugged into the power bar. Power bar, what's all plugged into here? I think this light is plugged into here. Yep, this light. If you follow the cord for it, where are you at? Nope, that's not in there. Where's the cords all going? We got cords running everywhere. Here's a light that's plugged in. I thought it was. Well, I'm just going to pull the plug on this one.
Yep, it just froze up a little bit there. Hello, hello. Anybody home?